Hello, welcome to Country Stitchers. This is Deb.
And this is Liz.
I have a story to tell. Normally right now we would start off with comments from our previous videos.
Yeah.
And I've told Deb I have a story, but I have not shared it with her.
Yeah. We're a little discombobulated. This is our fifth start.
And they were very short. But this story actually happened to, let's say, a distant relation.
Okay.
They were driving down the road in their truck, going from one company spot to another.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a pretty long drive, so we had been chatting on the phone, and all of a sudden they had to get off. They were hungry. They got off, got back on, and we're chatting again, and the person said, "Did I tell you I got pulled over?" I said, "No." I said, "Did you get ticketed? Did you get a warning? What happened?" "Well, I was driving along, and all of a sudden the lights are in my rearview mirror, and I get pulled over, and state police officer walks up and says, 'Do you know why I'm pulling you over?' They said, 'No, I know it's not because I was speeding, because this vehicle literally won't go over 75 miles an hour.' And he said, 'Well, you're right about that. The speed limit is 70, but yes, I didn't pull you over for speeding.' And they said, 'Well, why did you pull me over?' And the officer said, 'Because that cheeseburger is not a hands-free device.' I said, 'No way.'
What?
They did not say that. And they said, 'Yes, this cheeseburger is not a hands-free device.' And I thought, oh my word. So what are they going to do? Shut down every drive-through restaurant now because now we can't even eat?
Oh my.
I'm thinking coffee can't be drank. What are you going to do? Right?
Really?
Yeah, seriously. Honest, this happened.
Did he get a ticket?
So I said, "What in the world?" I said, "Did they say anything else?" Yeah. Said that in the future I should pull over, eat my food, get back on the highway if I'm hungry. I said, "Do you know how many people are going to be affected by this new hands-free device thing?"
Yeah.
And he said, he said, "Where are you going in such a hurry?" He said, "I'm working." And he said, "Well, that's a noble thing to do." And he said, I thought, well, that's a weird thing to say. So I looked up and he winked at me and I thought, okay, so now he's teasing me. And he said, "Yeah." And I said, "So what did he do?" He said, "No, he just told me in the future, pull over." Now I'm thinking about this and I'm thinking, this does not sound right. So I'm thinking, under what circumstances would you pull over somebody for eating a cheeseburger? And I said, the only way I can think that this would possibly happen is somebody driving down the road, two hands on a burger and their knee on the steering wheel. Yep, that's exactly what happened. I said, well, of course he pulled you over. You go driving by the police officer with your burger in your hand, officer.
Oh my goodness.
I said, of course he's going to pull you over. Oh my God. And now I can't stop laughing. And then they said, well, do you know how big a thick thick Hardee's burger is? And I said, no, because as a woman, I would order French fries and chicken nuggets or something I can manage with one hand while I'm driving down the road. I said, oh my word, this is not.
Oh my gosh. Well, good. You should have got pulled over
After
then.
that, I could not stop laughing. I told Rick, my husband, I was telling him the story. He was laughing so hard.
Oh my goodness.
I said, yep, that would be the conditions under which an officer might pull you over.
Yes.
Hi, officer, just having lunch.
Oh my goodness.
Anyway, that's just too much. And that would be a good Reader's Digest inclusion, by the way.
Yeah.
I used to read those sections.
Yeah.
My parents had Reader's Digest in the bathroom
Yep.
all the time.
Yep.
And the laughter is the best medicine. And in these United States and military life, I think were my three favorite as a kid.
Okay.
I would look those up every time. Do you have some comments you want
We
to
do have comments. I wanted to say thank you very much to Stitch Thrifty because she found my pattern, my simplicity pattern for my teddy bear. So that was awesome.
That was.
Very nice.
And a nice range of prices out there on eBay for that,
Yeah,
too.
she found it on eBay. I don't know if this will come through or not, but this is what she's going to look like when she's done.
Oh.
Isn't she cute?
Now, will you do her, your gown that you were referencing?
Yeah, see, that would be really fancy. I don't think I want to put her upstairs
So
in the
you'll
living room.
do the jacket and the dress like
yeah,
that?
I think I'll make another jacket. I have the hat. I just don't have the jacket or the dress done.
Okay.
And when I had made them before, I did her to look just like this, and I even got the little work boots, the little kid size work boots, and put it on her. So
Well, you know you have to make two.
cute, cute, cute. Well, if we get the pattern, we can make them.
We.
Yeah.
Pontifical.
We. We.
We will.
We. So thank you very much. That was very nice. When that picture came through, I'm like, oh, that's her. Yes.
I recognize that.
Yes. Okay, so Daleen Wilkinson, she has never used scroll rods, and she wants to know how I keep my fabric on my rods. I just use Velcro. Liz had, what was the name of that Velcro that I used
Easy
first?
based system.
Yeah, it reminds me of Easy Bake Oven.
I know, that's what I always thought too.
Yeah, so the Easy Base system, but then when I went to get my dowel rods last time, because I needed those, you know, really,
Tent
really,
size.
yeah,
Yep.
really big ones, I just was at a, what would you call goods?
A department store.
Kind of?
Like
yeah, I mean,
almost like a farm store.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's Mennonite owned. They have like gobs of fabric there. They have all kinds of things for sewing and everything like that. So
Like a
they have
almost Tractor Supply, except they don't have a lot of equipment stuff.
no equipment,
Or
but
the department store
yeah,
side.
it's an awesome store. But they had all kinds of sizes, widths, I guess I would say, of any kind of Velcro you could need, and then you could just get it cut to the size you wanted it.
Oh.
So that was perfect. So I mean, they had this whole shelf of it, and I just picked out the width that I wanted and let them know how many pieces I needed.
That is nice.
And then I just, you know, roll my rods till they get tight, because there's little...
You put
there's
the
little-
Velcro on the rod and on the fabric.
And on the fabric.
Yeah.
Yes, and then, you know, roll it. So that's how I do it.
And I'll bet
So-
that's less expensive than the easy base rolls too. Those are a little
It
more
wasn't much.
specified. So.
Yeah, it was not much. And I liked that you could get it cut any size you needed it then too. And then just on with talking about the teddy bears, a few people had some really cool ideas. Pearl Lane Manor, she said that she has teddy bears that are dressed in the outfits that her kids came home from the hospital in. And then she's going to save those bears and give them to her kids at their baby shower when they're getting ready to have kids.
I thought that was
so
really
cool. I
neat.
love that idea.
I had never heard that tradition before.
No, but that is so neat.
And I don't know about you. I still have the outfits.
Oh, I do, yes.
And they're in a box. And
Yeah.
I always thought to myself, now my grandkids are grown and I didn't live here at the time to put those outfits on them when they were little.
Yeah.
And so one of the outfits, actually, the kids are using with their dollies.
Oh, okay.
Kevin's little choo-choo train.
I actually have my
Jammies.
outfit that my mom brought me home in the
Really?
hospital in. And I was born December 7th, so it's Christmassy.
Yeah.
And it's, you know, really, really tiny.
Yeah.
And I still have that.
Neat.
Yeah. I was never able to put McKenna in it because she was born in September. By the time she got, you know, to December, she's chunky.
Yeah.
She's big.
Yeah.
So I couldn't put her in it. That would have been a cool picture. That
Yeah,
I have
it
my
would.
picture and her picture in the same outfit.
Yep.
But that was a very cool idea. And then someone else, Teresa MC, she said the flower girl dress that I was talking about getting cut up and either made into a dress for the bear or made into teddy bears. She said save a little bit of that dress and make wedding pillows for your children's weddings. And I think she means ring bearer pillows.
Yeah.
And that was a cool idea. I love it. Thank you. And that made me think, as soon as I read your comment, when we were packing up to move here, I have my ring bearer pillow, and it's really cool. I meant to bring it down and show you, because it actually has a little treasure chest on the top of it that you open, and that's where the rings go. It's
Neat.
really cute. But I'm standing in the kitchen thinking, now where did I put that? I know I put it somewhere safe, because it used to go in the china cabinet. And anyway, I found it and got it out, and it's in my bedroom now
Neat.
on my little, I don't know, little settee or whatever you want to call it. So that was also a really neat idea.
Yeah.
I thought, thank you very much. We also had a comment. Do you want me to read the one from Felicia?
Yeah, I can comment too.
Yeah,
We'll
we
talk
both-
together. Sure.
Yeah. So we had a comment from Felicia. Hi, Felicia. She is
Welcome back to stitching.
Yeah, she's Well, yeah.
She must have stitched when she was very young.
Yes.
Because then she got like out of school age and came back to stitching again.
Yeah.
So
But she's only 23, so
Yeah.
when she says she was young, I'm like, girl, you are young.
it's all
Anyway.
relative.
So she wants to stitch the Pilgrim by Long Dog Sampler. And she didn't want to do it on linen, so she wanted to do it on Aida, and she was wondering if we thought maybe 16 or 18 count Aida, which one would be better. And she wanted to use the 4-strand rayon as her floss, as her thread. And she didn't know if maybe we thought 1 or 2 strands of that. So she just kind of wanted to get our idea.
Yep.
I don't know if you know which sampler it is she's talking about. Don't know
It's
how
very,
well this
very
will
neat.
show up.
I
but
like it a lot.
It's awesome looking. It's
And
amazing.
I like the verse too.
But this is called the Pilgrim by Long Dog Sampler.
Those of you who aren't familiar with Long Dog Sampler, you ought to take a look at it. They have a variety of degrees of coverage in their samplers and length of time it takes. Deb and I are both owners of the Death by Cross Stitch pattern. And I was thinking about that after she sent us this link. I thought, the hard part for me on that one is trying to figure out what thread. I have seen so many versions
I know,
of
it's
that.
awesome.
And the ones where they
Yeah.
use multiple colors. See, you could look at that and go, oh, I'm going to do these in that color, these in that color. I look at it and I go, yeah, one color. I can do that. Try to sort it out as to which ones get which color. Which icons and which motifs. I think mine would probably be, like I'd start with brown and then there'd be blue.
You could do that.
Yeah. So
But
it's-
anyway, this is a beautiful pattern. And then her thread that she was explaining was the rayon. Hopefully this will come through. But it's a beautiful color.
It's very pretty.
Very, very pretty. Very
I
pretty.
like the fact that with the Pilgrim, she's doing the fall colors. I thought
Very
that was
pretty.
really neat.
Yes.
Not that they only came in the fall, but
Right, right. So I think we both kind of have the same idea that so much of it is personal preference. I mean, there's not a huge amount of difference between a 16 and 18 count. It's not going to make a big, huge difference. But of course, if you're stitching it on 18 count, your overall design will be a little bit smaller than if you're stitching it on a 16 count. If you have, like we've talked about before, any little scrap pieces of a 16 count or an 18 count, that's what I would do first before you actually jump into this big project, is get your floss that you want to use, and this is beautiful, and try it first with 1 strand. Do a row. See if you like the look of it. If it's not the right kind of coverage for you, do it again on that scrap piece with 2 strands and see if you like that coverage better. And whatever is more pleasing to you, then that's what I would go with.
and they recommended in our Did You Know series that if you want to check that, they recommended do a square of 6 by 6 stitches. That gives you a real good view of doing something solid or a letter, if you will, and then compare the 16 in 1, 2, 3, 4 strands and the 18 in 1, 2, 3, 4 strands.
Yeah, and it will look beautiful on an even weave. So whether you do it on an even weave or Aida, same kind of not linen, but it's going to be gorgeous.
Yep. The personal preference, honestly, one of the things that to me stuck in my mind was the 16 count has a little larger hole between the 4 thread groups than the 18 count, and of course they're a little more compacted on the 18 count, but you could also do an 18 count with a 26 needle instead of a 24, and it's going to go through easier. So choose your needle, choose your thread, choose your fabric, pretty much personal preference. There really isn't a right and a wrong. So
Yeah.
I find, because I stitch the sewing method, that if I'm stitching 18 count Aida, I need to use my petite needles, which are the shorter needle, because I can do that process much easier because they're a tighter stitch. the 16 count's easier. I can use a full-size needle on the 16 count without it being bothersome to me.
Oh, okay.
So
Okay. And I wonder if she's stitching it in hand,
yeah.
or if she's stitching it on a frame, or so.
Yeah.
Because that also can make a difference, you know, for your comfort level.
Yep.
So
Let
anyway,
us know what you decide.
Yeah, yeah. But I mean, your choice of floss is beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So, and that pattern is awesome.
Yes, it is.
It's awesome.
Yep.
So good luck, and let us know if you can what you chose.
Yeah.
What you chose to do. All right, do
Happy
you have
stitching.
Any? Yeah.
Yeah, I had two that I wanted to mention while we were talking.
Oh wait, I have something to say.
Okay.
I thought it was cute how so many people were like, yes, for the stitching license.
Yes, I know. Let's get our license and go away. I thought that was a good idea.
And somebody did say, is it okay if I have my stitching license and my hunting license? And I thought, yes, I want a picture of you up in the tree stand stitching.
Just don't draw your needle when you need to draw your gun. It'd be hard to bring a moose down with a 24.
That would be me. I'd be up in the tree stand. Matt would be watching me from far away, seeing the deer down there going, Deb, hold on, one more stitch, almost there. Hold on.
You get it. I'll get back to you. You get that, I'll get the next one.
I'd be picking up my belt, putting my needle in her mouth. And that wouldn't be good.
Oh, wrong glasses.
No. I would drop everything from that tree stand. I'd be dropping my needle and my scissors and everything.
Well, I have a gadget for
I'd
that.
be a mess.
It's an extension rod with a magnet.
Oh my God.
We can set you up. You just need a backpack for all the tools that you'll need while you're up there. Oh, where there's a will, right? There's a way. A while back, late August, Lisa Wright sent an email to me. And it was kind of a two-parter, and I had said we would probably talk about it at some point in time. She was talking about floor stands. And I was on the fence at the time about what I was using in my craft room. So in this past video, Debbie Collins also brought up the issue of floor stands and asked me if I could talk about a floor stand where, well, actually either Deb or I, where the scroll frame that she uses could just be inverted to work on the back and returned when she was done. And there are three now that after some time I would recommend considering, and they all vary in price. The probably more expensive of them is going to be the one from overseas, Needle Necessities. It's a floor stand, and it has a set of arms that come out with a sort of a post at the bottom, so that when you set your frame on there, it doesn't slide off the end. Mm-hmm. And then you can adjust the attitude of the arms and the width to accommodate larger frames, and whether you stitch with it straight on or at an angle or horizontally.
Okay. But does that one just set on there? Mm-hmm. It doesn't actually attach?
Nope.
Okay.
None of these attach.
Oh, none
They're
of them?
They're all going to allow you free movement with your scroll frames.
Oh, okay.
Just flip them right over on the top.
Okay, because I can't flip mine.
No,
okay.
Yours attaches to
turn
the frame.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
These three are all of the kind that you just flip the frame itself, and it's not attached to the stand. So Needle Necessities has it. All three of these also have a lap version of the same frame. So again, from one to the other, the function is the same. The one from overseas, when I ordered mine, it was about 4 years ago, maybe 5? It's been a while.
Yeah.
And I had been on their list for almost 8 months, I think, before they contacted me. And then when they contacted me, it was another 3 months till they made it and shipped it. Mm. So it's quite a while. They were very high in demand. But since then, now these other two companies are making similar floor stands and lap stands. Mm-hmm. So I think that's maybe shifted some of the demand. They don't have as much demand from the United States now that we have two other options. But it's an heirloom quality, beautiful stand. I think my floor stand alone was $330 for the floor stand. The second one I would mention is by Judy Odell. We talked about her when we were discussing the easel finishes She's the one that did the first book for the easel frame that we did. And she has a floor and a lap stand. Hers are very similar, but hers have a little different way to adjust the arms. Hers have a, I think they called it a J-bolt of some kind. Anyway, it just rolls on this bolt. Carriage sort of spins, and it's very nice. And I'll put a link to all three of these in the description box. But her website is called Just a Thought.
Oh, that's
all
cute.
together. And that's what she titled her books too.
Aww.
So
Who's the other one? What was the third one?
the third one is called Ocean Works.
Oh.
And I've spoken with the man that did the work initially. Now he is working, I think, now with his son on his company. But I have his lap version of that. A woman in our guild bought the floor stand or received it from her husband as a Christmas gift. And it's very similar to the other two. And it's just a little lower price. It doesn't use the same wood, and yet it's equally as sturdy. So all three of those in the description box. I still have not decided for sure whether I'm going to be able to use my Needle Necessities floor stand indefinitely. My disability with my back really limits how far out I can work. I find, and that's why I've been doing a lot of smalls in the last year or so, because I can hold it really close to me and I don't have the tension on my lower back. But I do have the lap frames then too that I can put my work on. But my large floor frame's been kind of empty. So
That's sad.
it is.
Frame.
It's calling me.
Yeah.
I hear you. So Lisa, Debbie, hopefully that's helpful. And for the rest of our viewers, check the description box.
Yes.
And we'll have that in there.
Okay.
Desiree, and I hope I pronounced this properly, A Lighter, I think, she asked about fabric for using it to back a piece. And she probably has seen your decorating video that we did, and the way that you can pull color and fabric. And unfortunately, you weren't here last week when we finished our video because all those pieces that were for fall that I did, the smalls, I finally brought along and I set them on the table when we were through, and I said, Deb, can you help me match some fabric to these? And I was busy doing stuff, putting things away, and I look up and she's standing there going, do, and bringing fabric off the shelf right behind where we do our video. And I'm now set to do my finishing on all my pillows because she pulled them out for me. But it's funny, we had a similar conversation to your email to me here last week about what I can and can't judge for myself when I'm choosing the fabric. And so I said to Deb, let's do another segment of how Deb does it. So probably not the next video because we have something special coming up, but maybe the following video, Deb's going to walk us through some of those steps to know what fabric might be a good match for a finished piece that you might be looking to put a backing on for a pillow or even a wall hanging, something like that. She's sitting here real quiet. She's not going to give it away between now and then. But one of the things I do, she told me this last week, I didn't know I did it. I knew that I had graduated. I used to only pick solid fabric for my piece. That was it, by the solid. Then I graduated to picking things that I had seen other people use. Even though I didn't have a piece to finish, I was building my fabric. Then I got myself to a place where I had the fabric, but nothing matched what I wanted to use it for. And Deb said, you tend to gravitate towards that busier fabric. And I thought, busy? What does that mean? So we're going to talk about all those aspects of it, right?
Yeah.
You're going to help us get out of our rut. And so stay tuned, Desiree, and we'll get to that. We also have some pieces we were working on recently. So
Yes.
what are you doing?
Well, I am still working on Olga.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's looking really pretty.
So pretty. I love it.
Mm-hmm.
Show you the pattern one more time. Well,
Yeah,
I'll probably show it more than one more time, but
That's it. No more.
yeah, that's Olga. So this is what I have finished
Isn't that gorgeous?
so far.
I love the colors.
Yeah, me too. So pretty. So I'm building this house right now. Alright, so that's
Do you have your threads?
upstairs.
Now, do you have any more of an orange tone as you go down, or is this pretty much the palette right here?
There is one more color that I have not used yet that is a little bit more of an orange.
Okay.
There's a black cat. Yeah, see this one down here? See how orange this one is?
Uh-huh.
That one there I don't think I've used. And
Okay.
then this black cat sits on that.
Okay.
So cute. So anyway, that is Olga's stocking.
Pretty. Not that you could see any of what she just showed me.
Yeah, I
See
love
this
that.
black cat? This black cat right here. And this pumpkin. She's got an orangier
yeah.
version.
Yeah. That's a lot of fun to do, and I love that fabric. Okay, so then I also pulled out, oh gosh, this goes way back.
Mm-hmm.
This
Hello, I'm Liz.
Yeah. Way back to then. Yes.
When we met.
When we met, and I got this at the Stony Creek booth, and it's called Faith, Hope, and Love. This is the pattern. Very simple.
For our viewers who are just starting or back to stitching, this would be a really good pattern. Not a lot of color changes as you're stitching.
Now there's 4 colors. That's it. So this is what I have finished so far.
And it's got, you know, the larger blocks of color, which make it nice. You can get your rhythm, and you can start to get your tension even.
Yep.
Be a good piece.
Yes. And it calls for gentle art colors, but I had when we were there, we actually, what is her name?
Vicki Clayton.
Vicki Clayton, yeah. We actually were able to get some of her silks.
Hand-dyed fibers. Mhm.
So I chose 4 colors, and they kind of mimic what the picture is. A little muted, I would say, but I'm not using the call for colors. The fabric is 32 count, and it's golden sand, and that is very pretty. I do like that a lot.
That was a very popular color in their pieces that year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they had a lot of that for sale in
It's
the
really
Stony
pretty.
Creek.
Yeah, that's really pretty. So those are the 2 that I'm working on right
I'm
now.
not
Well, and I mean, I
positive.
did a little bit more on my Hawk Hollow, but not enough to show. I made some more sunflowers, and that's it. So
That makes me wonder if I should be showing one of the ones I brought.
Well-
Now, not done, but some of it's done.
yes, you may.
May I? I finally put needle and thread. I don't even know if I can actually say I'm part of the cell at this point, but
Sure, you
I
can be
am.
part of the cell.
this was the I had the pattern from the Joy Noel printing, not the Tis the Season, not Tis the Season, Home for the Holidays. That was the reprint that they put the cardinal pattern into. This one had all of the French patterns. I really like it. I also like this
Yes,
stocking a lot.
yes.
I was looking at that thinking, I wonder why I didn't think about doing
Yeah.
that. But I am
Very
thinking
pretty.
about doing that.
Yeah.
So that's the pattern, and I finally got myself started with the silk. I really like that on this gray.
Yeah, it's very pretty.
It stands out really
Very
well.
pretty. Yep.
I'm going to be really pleased with that. And
Yeah.
this, by the way, we did our fabric segment on Did You Know? But this is one of those fabrics that they actually sort of stamp the color onto. And when you look at the back, you'll see that it's completely solid, plain fabric. Which is really interesting.
Yeah.
The first time I saw that, I thought, did I buy the wrong thing?
I know. Yeah. And you know, that's nice fabric to stitch on, because that's what I did that pillow with upstairs in the living room.
Okay.
It has the E in the center.
Oh, the monogram.
And yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's
I like the
it's a different
weight.
color, but it's the same kind of fabric, and it's awesome to stitch with.
It is. It's
Yeah.
It says on the side of it, fabricflair.com.
Okay.
Whether they have an online presence for sales, I don't know. I've never actually gone out. I bought this at the Strawberry Sampler when we were up there.
Oh, okay.
So I've had that since
Okay.
I bought the pattern actually.
All right.
I picked this up.
Okay.
I didn't,
Yeah, I do. I have to remember that because I do love that fabric.
I thought I was going to stitch it on the vintage pear, which was what it was called for. And I did buy a piece of that, but it wasn't until I got home I realized I bought it in 28 count instead of 32. And because of that, it wasn't the right design size.
Oh.
It actually made a difference in the cut that I bought.
Okay.
So I had bought this for my stash, and it just was one of those happy accidents, and it worked.
Yeah.
And then Deb and I were talking about whether or not I had shared this pattern in the past, and I may have, but it's a needlepoint pattern that I bought at our local needlework store called Stitches Unlimited, and I got the thread over time, and I've been waiting to do it. I was a little intimidated, I'll be honest, because I've never finished a needlepoint piece. I don't know what it's going to be like to work with the canvas, but I decided it's solid and even. It should be just as easy as linen. So
Easy peasy.
this is the piece. It's by Kathy Shaffer, and it sits on a little Sudbury. I think this is generally used as a pincushion base. She got very clever. She tells in the actual magazine article where this stitch guide is featured in Needlepoint Now, she tells about how she came up with the idea for the chair, which is very clever. And there are also multiple designs. There's a Halloween, a Stitchy Craft Room chair, and then the beach chair at the bottom is really cute too. So there's several versions of this, but I fell in love with this one. And
You see the beach chair.
isn't that cute down there, the bottom?
Oh, yeah.
This all came in one piece, the needlepoint. This is the back and the two cushions for the arms. And they're pretty much straight back stitch and tent stitch and basket weave, I think, are the three on that. There's some couching. But this part of it, the bottom, I think that'll give it a little more. This is the cushion.
Oh, yeah.
And it actually sits like this. And this one has the mosaic stitch and the Scotch stitch, I'm sorry. And that I just got into 2 rows of it. I wanted to see what that light color looked like, and I really do like that. That's
pretty.
Actually, no, I'm sorry, that's the darker of the 2 raspberries that I already started stitching in the middle there. And then this has some basket weave in the background. The trees are tent stitched. And I'm toying with the idea of a bead on the tree for the star, but we'll see how it works out. I have to think about how I'm finishing it, but beads on there for there's like 4 or 5 little ornaments, like dots, that I think they use a French knot in a stitch guide.
Nope.
So that is our subscriber tribute for those of you who may not have watched our video before. At this point, we like to thank people for subscribing, and we give away 2 stitching gifts to people who are our subscribers.
Yes, thank you very much. So today's winners, Lori J. Towle, I think is how you pronounce it. You'll be getting a Strawberry Fields Farm from the Victorian Sampler. Show you this up close, it's so pretty.
A lot of specialty stitches, and her patterns, if you haven't stitched one, are extremely explicit in their specialty stitch directions. They're awesome.
Yeah. Very, very good directions. And then Karen Brosman, she'll be getting the Harbor Village from the Victorian Sampler. I'll show you this one. All right, beautiful patterns. I love the winter ones on the back too.
And the front of that
pretty.
again? Let me see.
The front of this one? Harbor Village.
Oh, wow.
Pretty. So, Karen Brosman and Lori J. Towle, if you could get a hold of us, either Instagram
Or email.
and it's always on the drop-down section of our video that you can find our information and get a hold of us, and we'll get your goodies out to you. And thank you very much.
And do you mind if I take a minute here and mention that over the 30 some videos now that we've done. We've been doing this since about video number 5, I think. We do have a basket that's growing with subscribers who haven't gotten in touch with us.
Yes.
So at this point, rather than try to keep managing that, I think what we're going to do is, if we haven't heard from somebody after 8 weeks, then we're going to put those patterns back into the tribute pile and pass them on to someone else. And
Yes.
chances are you might get drawn again.
Yes.
But we just want to keep things moving, and we don't have a lot of space to manage all of this. So
Yeah. Yep.
we'll keep going with that in mind. Let's see. I showed those. Oh, I had one more.
This is pretty.
This is a piece that actually started as a stitch along quite a while back. Oh, let me show one last thing. Sorry, attached to the Santa chair needlepoint. This is the specialty thread that it calls for. These are all Rainbow Gallery specialty threads. These are Mandarin floss. That's what the Scotch stitch in the chair was. That's the lighter one I haven't stitched yet. And then these vary from Neon Rays to Fryworks and even Velvet and Splendor. And it's just these colors right here. So it's all real traditional Christmas colors on the chair.
Very pretty.
But it'll be a lot of fun. Then the stitch along I did was with a woman who had a company called Thread Basket. She was just delightful. We met her at the Lancaster convention we went to, the Jubilee. She then moved to Colorado, and that's when the stitch along started. Unfortunately, her shop then closed. They got busy with family and their relocation to Colorado. But this is a French pattern, and it's a Christmas sampler. They did it on more of a natural colored background. I've kind of stitched myself into a quandary though, because I did it on an off-white opalescent linen. And could you pull your magic paper? Thank you. And I really like the look of it so far. And I'm thinking it'll continue to be okay, but the next one that I start on in the sampler, the next section, has a lot of that lighter gray white color. So I've either got to decide whether I can continue with that sort of blue gray and not the white on the snowflake here, or whether I want to pull a different color.
I like this.
Yeah?
Yep. I like that a lot.
And you think that'll go ahead and show up as I go?
This one
Okay.
here? Yeah.
Okay. All right.
But the church looks beautiful. I can still see your snow in your tree.
I
Your
outlined that.
snowman. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I think that's perfect.
Okay.
It looks great.
All right. So Deb
Yeah,
suggested
it's beautiful.
that I pull, see if I can get my finger on it before I move, this blue-gray color
Yeah, that real light blue gray
to
in there.
use for the other
That'd
ones.
be beautiful.
And anyway, this one is different, and
It's
I
very
liked it.
pretty. Yeah.
It'll be fun.
Now,
and
what floss are you using for that? Is that DMC?
It is.
Wow,
It
it's
is
very
DMC.
pretty.
I think I have some Krennic in there too, but the majority of it is. It's all DMC according to the pattern, and those are the
Beautiful.
colors I pulled.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
Yep.
Very pretty.
And I think there's only 7. Yeah, there's only 7 DMC colors in the whole thing.
Wow, nice.
Yeah.
That's a very pretty pattern. Yeah, that'll look great in that
I'll
color.
tell you what, it played with me because on this border, you see the individual, there's an individual outline of this section here, and then there's an actual solid border that goes down as well. I must have recounted that a dozen times. I kept thinking I was off, and I kept looking at that saying, no, it's at the right place, but why is my border? And then I realized it's a double border. There's a border the whole way around, and then this is that alternate stitched
Aw.
border. I just was one of those things that just
Yeah,
my eye wouldn't focus
it's really
on.
pretty.
Thank you.
I like that a lot.
So that was fun.
Very pretty.
I'm going to continue to work on that one.
Do you like that opalescent
You know,
fabric?
for some things, I certainly don't mind stitching on it. Is that, if that's what you mean?
Yeah, that's what I meant.
I don't mind that. It took me a little while to look away from the sparkle,
Oh, okay.
but once I got used to it, I didn't mind. And I'm looking at this thinking it would be a really pretty pillow. Do you think?
Yeah,
Or do you think it'd be prettier framed?
framed.
I like the way she helps me out. Or do you like it 1 or 2? Which is better,
What?
3
Or 2?
or 4?
5.
So there you go. That's my 3 that I was working on. I did get 1 new pattern in the mail. We ordered this.
Love it.
We actually had some time to stitch last week. I think we might have mentioned that we were going to be together for longer last week during the day.
I don't know if we mentioned it or not.
Okay, well, we actually ended up staying together and having dinner together. Deb cooked awesome ham loaf. And we saw this pattern and just had to have it, so I ordered it right there. It's Prairie Schooler reprint, and a lot of stitchers are doing it because it's been re-released. It's just adorable. It's called Button Up, and I love it. I mean, even right down to the little tiny ornaments that they're broken down into.
Yeah.
I showed it to Deb.
Yeah.
She's
I love
looking at it. I have to say, it made me want to literally go start it. It just is that
I
cute.
know, it is. It's
And
adorable.
so I went and I grabbed all the threads, and I'm choosing fabric.
I gotta show them this.
My needle minder.
Look at her needle minder. This is the cutest thing. Oh, that makes me want to watch that movie so much.
I know, that's a fun movie. That's one
Oh.
of Deb's favorite Christmas ones.
It is. I don't care how many times you see Elf. It's just funny.
It is.
Oh my goodness. It's like Home Alone. That's just funny every time. Oh my goodness.
Oh my gosh. I went with my mom to see Home Alone when it came out in the
Did ya?
theater. Mm-hmm. And my son's name is Kevin.
Yeah.
And we were
Yeah, I
in
love
there.
when she yells, Kevin!
She's in there. And I didn't know whether to watch the movie or watch my mom. Because
Aw.
every time Kevin got himself into trouble, Mom would grab my arm and go, that so reminds me of your son. And I was thinking to myself, I didn't think he was quite that age. It's like, whoa.
That's
She
cute.
just thought that was made for my son.
Aw.
It was funny.
Very cool.
Let's see. Okay. At this point, we were going to show, usually we would show some finishes, and we're actually going to talk about a new segment we talked about doing, and we're referring to it called Start to Finish. And what we thought about it for was to allow you as viewers to see some of the processes we use when we're getting ready to start a pattern, how Deb looks at the fabric and the colors and considers where she's going to put it. She's, like I said, my go-to on that. So what we're going to do is, with the next episode of Start to Finish, is begin a new project. We'll let you know what that is. And then we'll go through that process at the beginning. We'll show you maybe a couple updates while we stitch it. And then we'll walk through the finishing of the project for you. It just so happened that after we had talked about this a few months ago, I was finishing something that I ended up only finishing one of a set. So I had it in 2 stages, so I thought this would be a good time to kind of show the process for this. So, without further ado, you may remember I had showed the project for, no peeking, for a la-di-da pattern called a sampler hare. I bought this, oh gosh, maybe in April when we were down at the Guild Retreat, I think I found it.
Yep.
And I had already stitched the companion piece to that, which was called Sweet Pea. Now, at this point, I have finished stitching both of them, and Sweet Pea is in...
I love all the jewels.
Yes, I was just going to say, has a lot of earrings right now. Sweet Pea is in its pre-stitch mode.
Aw.
I love Wonder Clips.
Yeah.
I don't impale myself on these like I do the
Yes.
needles, but this is the stage just before I'm about to put the fabric to the
deflated
linen.
bunny.
Yes.
You
Now,
need to feed it more, Liz.
yes, I'm going to. I have a
Okay.
big
Okay, good.
bag of food at home.
Good.
I did this a little differently than you'll see this pattern was done. You'll notice you don't see the outline of the bunny on this sampler hair pattern. She's put the fabric when she joined it right against the outline. In a couple places where she stuffed it and it comes around, you can see it. Now I decided, I had talked about doing like a mattress finish around the two sections in between the back and the front, so it had more of a square look to it, almost like a cookie cutter. But then that was going to take me a little more time to figure out, so I decided to try that on something more simple like a pillow, and go ahead with this one as just a stuffed piece. But I decided to finger press it. First I sprayed the whole thing with Best Press and gave it a little bit of sizing. Then I folded over the seam allowances to where they left me just about 4 threads of linen all the way around. Get a little bit bigger on some of the outside areas, especially where there's a turn. And then I just carried that on around. Again, I didn't go too close to this corner because when you stuff these, you can end up shooting yourself in the foot because you'll poke through there and it'll have too much stress on it when you're stuffing. And then on down to the bottom. So this is my trimmed sweet pea. I laid out my fabric and just traced around my stitched piece, and I used my stitch piece as my guide, and I cut that out first with a good 5/8 inch, maybe a little bit more seam allowance the whole way around. And I kind of just cut initially almost just a big curve here as I did it, so that I could trim this out to where it was comfortable for me to finish. So initially that looked more like a chocolate bunny, sort of just all kind of blended together here in the ear, and less like a bunny with ears. And after that, I started, the direction said to start just above where the tail goes, which is right here at the back of the bunny, and stitch up and around the ear and down to the face and stop just about below the chin. Then stuff your ears while you have easy access to the ears, because trying to pack those long, thin ears was a little challenge. But once you finish the ears and the face, then you complete your stitching to the bottom where the foot is. And then I came over and inserted my tail and then finished the stitching down here. Then I resumed the stuffing until I had this stuffed. I'll bet, even though this is this small, I'll bet I spent almost an hour stuffing. Because as I stuffed, if I saw any lumps or indentations in the fabric, then I would take my stuffing tool and I would slide it back and forth until I smoothed that out, and then I would add as much more as I could.
Polyfill?
I was using polyfill the whole time. I had thought about poly pellets, but I just thought I wanted that tighter finish to it. The poly pellets, you get just a little. You can only push those so.
Ground,
Yeah, no, I didn't use the walnuts on this one either. And I almost said, wait till you see it. But it's coming. So anyway, once I did that, you have another piece that you've cut out. You start with your paper pieces. You've cut a piece of cardboard out of the smaller piece and a piece of fabric out of this. Then I put my fabric onto my cardboard. I used Yes glue, you know, that big jar we got when we found out about it.
Yeah.
And I attached my fabric to the cardboard. It's just perfect with Yes glue. It smooths right down. There's no lines. And then I used my Wonder Clips and just clipped all the way around the outside and let it dry. And then I have this as my base. And those are the only 3 pieces to put together here in this. I'm using a coordinated thread. This was from the piece on that one. And I used a coordinating thread on the sampler hair. That was this tone here. And then, after a little loving, out comes
oh, look how
my
cute.
bunny. These are my bunny.
Oh, that's perfect.
I was so thrilled. I really was delighted. I have never done anything quite like this before. I've done the smalls for the needle, needle kits and things.
Oh my gosh.
But I just had fun. The very last step on the bunny is to put the nose across with the stitching.
That's adorable.
And you put it right through your fabric and your linen.
Aw, that's too cute. Aw, I like the little tail too.
And what do you think about
So
the fill?
cool.
Do you think it's filled
Perfect.
enough?
I do, yeah. I like it.
I literally, I was surprised, really. I know
That is
when you do a
awesome.
pillow, you can put an inordinate amount of stuffing in a pillow.
Yeah.
But I was surprised
That
at
is so
how much
cool.
you could put into
Yeah.
one of these, too. Especially even with those tiny
was
little
really,
round
really
ears.
Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Love it.
And the black
Very
cording,
cool. Very
I happen
cool.
to have that from some scissor fobs I made, and I bought it right in the beading section.
Yeah.
It's just plain black cording. It kind of has a leathery feel to it, doesn't it?
Yeah. Very cool.
Thank you.
Aw.
So, next video, bunny number 2. We'll have the matching
This
set.
bunny will get a friend.
Yes. Well, they just multiply, you know
Yeah.
how things are.
Well, then let it here so it multiplies in my house, darn it.
So there you go, start to finish. And next video, we'll see the other finish.
That's cool.
That was fun. I'll tell you what, we've been so busy with retreats
Yeah.
and homework and round robins and everything else, and I'm just about done with my last square on my group member, my friend's round robin, and I'm going to get it her this week. And I was telling Deb this morning, I said, it just seems like it's been back-to-back projects for
Yeah.
a while.
Yeah.
Yeah. Now,
Yeah.
given our situation, she stitches faster than I do, but she's got some other things going on. But I just kind of got waylaid there with all the things going on, and I thought I could use a little time to get back to some of our fun finishing and our
Yes.
stitching.
Got it.
Thank you. I just put that back down in our little finish
It's
basket.
just such a shame we have to sleep.
I know.
Darn it.
Yeah.
Gets in the way.
I actually didn't crawl in bed till 4 o'clock.
Oh
this
my
morning.
goodness gracious.
Yeah. And then at 5:45, my husband's alarm went off, and he's trying real quick to get it to go off. And I said, "Don't worry, I haven't gone to sleep yet." He goes, "What?" I said, "Nah, you won't wake me."
No,
yeah,
I like to sleep.
I do too.
I just wish we didn't have to.
my
Think of all the things you could get done.
I know. I get excited. And I got excited about today because of the bunnies and the the stuff we were going to be talking
Not much
about.
excites me at 2 a.m.
Well,
Except my pillow.
I'll have to come knock on your door when I'm up next time.
Whenever we go to retreats and, I'm ready
Yeah,
for bed.
She's gone.
I am ready for bed.
It's a good thing. We're good travelers together because we both, even though we have a different schedule and habits, they don't conflict.
Yeah.
We can coincide.
Yes, yes.
Now that brings us down to Gadget Corner, and this Gadget Corner is a little different. I was going through things and I thought, you know what? We have neglected these. And this is a Yazzie bag. It's relatively available online. Joann's. Not sure about AC Moore and Michael's. I haven't really shopped there. But I first saw this out in Illinois when I was in the guild. And this was my first one. This one I like. It's a little tapestry look to it. And they're basically your stitching necessities bag. This would be sort of the smallest version. And some of these are see-through on both sides. You're
Look
quilted.
at all those pockets in there.
Gadget,
That's awesome.
gadget, gadget. And this one isn't see-through, but you can put things. I use this one for my magnifiers because it's completely quilted inside and nothing will scratch them.
Yeah,
And you've got everything.
yeah, that's nice.
And then you can grow up and move to the
Then when you're a big
medium-sized
girl.
one. And this is done the same way, this particular style. It's identical to the smaller one,
Yeah.
even down to the inside one being completely finished. It's like a little stitcher briefcase, and that just is me. The briefcase, that's me. And then there's Deb's. Now she goes to a different style. She's a messenger.
Yeah. Go big or go home.
Go big or go Deb.
Yeah. This is mine, my Yazzie bag. Excuse me, Liz. Boom. Oh yeah.
Thanks
yeah.
for playing.
Look at that. Size matters.
There you go.
So yes, we have lots and lots of pockets, different shapes. I love it. It's so cool. It has so so many features, and it'll hold so much. This is also not just for stitching, but this is great for scrapbooking too.
Yeah,
Holds
this
a
size
lot.
is perfect.
Yeah, this size. Yeah, yeah. I mean, you have zippers and pockets absolutely everywhere in this.
Yep.
And then, of course, once it's all zipped together, nice long handles. And it's quilted. They come in different colors.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, give you an idea. When I bought this medium size, the only color option on the site left was black, and we went to our retreat, and I'm sitting next to Sherry, and Sherry says, "Oh, I love black. I tried to get black." I said, "I love blue." We actually emptied them out and swapped right there at the table. So I came home with the blue one.
That's cool. I forgot that story.
That was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah. So yes, Yazzie bags.
Yes.
You get a chance, check it out. Will you be able to link where
A
we can?
gadget, yes, ma'am.
Yes.
I will link them.
Yes.
And
A
it's
gadget for all your gadgets.
It's a gadget person's travel bag. Yes, they're great.
Yeah, they are great.
I wanted to
Excuse me.
mention, I have a friend named Linda DeRee. She actually became known to me at the same time I met Deb. Boy, a lot happened that retreat, didn't it?
I'm good for you, aren't I?
All kinds
Darn
of connects. Well, either that or I'm really glad I went to that retreat. I would have had to leave you behind.
I'd still be wandering.
Yeah, so, oops, this
I
way.
wouldn't know about all the gadgets.
That's right. No Yazzie bag.
No.
Linda is a designer, and she was teaching a class when I met her, and I've done some work with her on models over the years, and she got in touch with us and wanted to know if she could kind of do a coordinated video with us. And so we have a surprise coming up in our next video, and Linda will be working with us on that video. You won't see Linda, but you'll see a lot about Linda. Her stitching company is called Stitching Treasures. So watch for that. There's going to be some special things for viewers and some treats too. So
Yes.
we've waited a while for this to completely develop, and we're excited about it.
Yeah.
So-
She's very sweet.
Yes, she is.
Yes.
And that kind of is about a wrap for
I
us.
think that wraps it up. Yes.
But I did want to mention with the holidays coming up, it's only 8 weeks, 7 to Christmas now,
Is it?
and 2 to
I
Thanksgiving.
know. Wow.
So we're going to get another video in the short term, but we're kind of thinking about maybe every other week over the holiday.
Yeah.
And maybe even after the holiday. Depends on how it works for us. Give us a little more time to do the things we do, and then spend the time with you too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So kind of divide it up.
Yes.
So we will see you again, hopefully in the near future. Probably before Thanksgiving we'll do one.
Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes. Yes.
Even though that's 2 weeks
But
away.
there's so, everybody is, it's such a busy time.
Yeah.
And there's so many amazing floss tubers out there, and there's so many people to watch, and,
And we're who we are because of our families. And so we want to be with our families over the
yeah,
holidays
and just
too.
like you do, So, anyway, I think we are going to back it off to every other week
Yep.
for a while.
Yeah.
So, unless you really miss us.
And yes,
But bringing that up with floss tubers, we've had some time. I know we don't say it a lot, but we've had some time to watch some people, and of course, old favorites, but found new people. And I just want to say thank you so much, because I love watching other floss tubers, other people, share the same
interest,
yeah
passion.
yeah yeah.
We really
and-
appreciate the floss tubers, the designers.
Yes.
They're now doing floss tubes too, and they share with us what
Yeah.
their passion is and how they come up with their pieces too.
Yeah. Yeah. And also hearing about the Midwest retreat, that's fun. Seeing everybody's videos about that
Yep.
looks like such a fun one
Yeah, it does.
to go to.
And another thing that came to my mind, we were talking in our small group of friends about retreats last week through our texts. And don't forget your guilds. Go online, look up your local guilds, see what they're doing. The reason it comes up for us is because we kind of plan in the future about what we're going to do. We have the opportunity to go to 2 small retreats in Ocean City with our guild, which is awesome. And then, of course, the ones that they do down there on a regular basis. But we're kind of getting an itchy feet to
Oh, yeah, I am.
investigate some new ones.
Yeah.
And now it looks like for me that might be a possibility. A lot of changes in my abilities and restrictions in the last year as far as the medicine I was on. So we're looking forward to doing some
Yes.
new things.
Yes. I also wanted to say real quick, back to the Flosstube thing. I actually started watching someone, and I started watching a video. It's Ginger Gerald, but he does these videos called Confessions of a Flosstuber.
Yep.
And I know you've been a fan of him for a very long time.
Since
and
he
when
started, yeah.
and when I got into, trying to find people, and you're always trying to watch new people, he came up as recommended, and I watched one of the Confessions of a Flosstuber videos. And if you haven't seen those yet, you really should check them out. I really love those because you get to know that person, that you're watching. And he does a great job at interviewing. And then, of course, I started watching his regular channel, and he's just such a talented guy and very kind. Very nice. So if you have not watched him yet, you might want to check him out. He is stitching a Heaven and Earth Henry VIII design right now. It's
Full coverage.
oh my goodness.
I think anytime you say heaven and earth, it's almost a full coverage.
I said that's one of those oh my god patterns.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, but it is awesome. So I love seeing his progress on that. But there's so many wonderful people to watch. So.
Yep.
Alrighty, well.
All
I'm
right.
starving. Can we go eat?
So, as usual, remember to share the
Share the
joy of needlework.
See
Bye-bye.
ya.